Staying organized is super important. And I happen to love spreadsheets. So I am going to share with you some of my spreadsheets that I use to stay organized. All right. This first tab here is for supplier registrations. By now you have registered with several suppliers. So right here, we just have a list of some of the different companies. And here are the links to get to the booking portal. If you have not registered with any of these, make sure you go into the travel cafe and follow the instructions back there. Sometime the link to register is not the same link that you use to log in when you want to go to the booking portal. So always when you're registering, go to the travel cafe, follow the instructions back there and get registered, and then you can use these links to log in. I put in a column for commission. That is nice to know because if you're comparing prices for a client and say you are in Vacation Express, which pays 15 to 20%, and then you're also looking at the same thing in Room Res, that only pays 11%. So if the price is relatively comparable, it would be better off for yourself to book something in Vacation Express because you would make more money. Preferred supplier. All of these here are preferred suppliers. That is good to know because we get 80% commission on preferred suppliers. On non-preferred suppliers, we only get 50%. Here's a column that says what, and that is just a very general, brief description. Cruise, American Airlines, cruise, Disney, travel insurance for what it is. I have columns here for sent and received. When I first started, and I'm sure with you guys, you have sent out a lot of supplier registrations. So I just assumed because I sent them out, I was done. And then months later, I went to log into Norwegian and I couldn't log in because something was wrong with my registration when I sent it in. So I wasn't registered and I had to go through that process again. So then I added this column in for sent. So I would know the day that I sent my registration in, and then I could fill in a date for received when I got it back. And I knew that it was complete. Username and password, pretty self-explanatory. And then here, notes for anything else you may want to mention. So for this one here, one source, I can never remember which lines are in one source, so I just put them over here, Princess, Cunard, and Holland America. So just more notes for yourself. It could be similar to the things you have in what, or you may want to combine them into one column so you don't have all of these columns. Now, these spreadsheets are, you're able to make them your own. So up here, you just go to File, Make a Copy, and then you can leave it as copy of sample spreadsheet or rename it to whatever you want, and then click Make a Copy, and then it is yours to edit. So once you do that, you'll be able to add columns or remove columns as you would like to do. And then I just started making all these columns for other things that I thought of that I might want to know about each supplier. Again, you can add columns or delete columns. I like to have a lot of information in front of me because I have a very bad memory. So this way I can just look at something and then I don't have to remember it. So this is just a template, very nice and neat and what it looks like. And I will show you in real life what it turns into. So this is my spreadsheet for my supplier registrations. I have over 100. I haven't filled in all the columns. A lot of these columns I added to my spreadsheet after a while, and I started thinking about other information I wanted to have on here, and I just don't have the time to go back and fill it in. Also, I have more than one account with Archer, so you can see over here, I have different accounts set up with different suppliers. Here's the link, sent and received, any other info that I want to have there, my login and password stuff. And then over here, you can see what I do with these. So I put an X for something that does it or has it. For example, American Airlines has travel protection. You could put a Y and an N for yes and no and fill this all in if you want. Rather than, doing like a check mark, I just use an X indicating that yes, that supplier has that. In this case here, I did write no for payment plan. It is up to you how you want to do all this. And you can just go through here, see where I have X marks and where I don't. And I'll tell you how this comes in handy. Number one, I have a bad memory. I already said that. Number two, literally 5 minutes before I started to do this training, I got a text message from someone and they said to me, where can I find Universal tickets? Well, I don't know offhand, but I just opened up my little spreadsheet. I came over here to the column for Universal and I scrolled down and I said Apple, which is in VAX. So VAX, Beds Online also has it. Keep going down. Evo Rewards has it. FunJet, again, that's in VAX. RoomRes has it. And I believe these other ones, these are in VAX. Southwest Vacations. Tickets at Work has it. Now just remember that Tickets at Work is something you can only use for yourself as a travel agent. You cannot use it for clients. Travel Impressions in VAX and United Vacations in VAX. So all of those different places you can order Universal tickets from. So that is my first column for suppliers. Second column here is education and rewards. A lot of times these two things go hand in hand. Suppliers, for example, like Coconut Bay booking rewards. Coconut Bay may have its own little training program and then also a rewards portal where you will log in your bookings. Cayman Islands Specialist, probably same type of thing. It's education where you learn about it and then a place where you can log in your bookings. So these are all different places that I like to use for a combination of education and or rewards bookings. Here are the links to all of the different websites, and you can put in your username, password, and notes. Going back to mine, again, you can see it gets messy, but I have all of my info in here. The next tab is for travel. So this one is for Facebook for travel ads. The next one is for Facebook for team building. So Facebook and travel ads or your mock bookings. The way I keep track of that is I have a column for the group name. These are not the names of the groups I'm in. They're just the types of groups you want to join where to place your mock booking ads. Restrictions, if you're not allowed to post on certain days or you're only allowed to post on certain days, I put that information in here. State, I do post all over the country, but I prefer to first book or place my ads into places that are local and close to me. I have found that I get a better response from people who are close. People like to book with local businesses. So I'll put the state in here, public or private. If it is public, then anyone on and off Facebook can see it. If it's private, only the people in that group can see it. And number of members is all relative because whatever the number of members is in the group today, in a month it's going to increase. But if you have a group that has 500 members versus a group that has 10,000 members, I would rather post into the group that has 10,000 members. And then I have all these columns where I'll put the date. Typically every Monday I would start a new column. So here is what I do for Facebook. These are all the names of the groups that I am in. I have them all alphabetized, except for the ones right up here. These are the ones that have special rules. With certain days you can post Wednesday and Saturday, Wednesday only, Saturday only. I put these up top because I start on a Monday, and usually I start at the top of my list and work my way down. So if it says you can only post on Wednesday, and I get down here and it says you can only post on Wednesday and it's already Friday, I've missed my opportunity. So I keep these up here so I can keep an eye on them and make sure I post to them only on the days when I'm allowed. This is the only rules that I deal with. If a group has more rules than you can only post on this day, then I don't even bother to join it because I don't have time to pay attention to all those rules. There are plenty of groups out there to join, so I don't want to get involved in all of those rules. Here's the state. Some groups you can't figure out what state they're in. Some you can, so I'll put in the state. I've highlighted the ones that are local to me. I'm in New Jersey, so I post a lot in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York or Delaware. Whether the group is public or private, I have that in here. And then this is where I start my column for the week. When I first started doing this, I was only posting one mock booking a week. So I would just put an X every time I posted the mock booking into a certain group. Then I thought, well, let's get a little variety going here. Um, for myself, I am a member of a lot of for sale groups that are local to me. So if someone posts something in one for sale group, then typically they go to all the other for sale groups and post the same thing. So I will see someone's sweater that's for sale 10 times in a day because it keeps popping up for me on my feed. So I figured, why not give people a little variety? And now I post 3 to 4 different ads a week, but I mix them all up. So you just have to come up with some little code for yourself. I was doing sports types of bookings, or I'm sorry, sports types of ads. So SB was for Super Bowl, FF, I don't even remember what that was for. D5 was Daytona 500. M is for the Masters. So I just don't remember what the FF was. But anyway, so if this week I posted about Daytona 500, the next week I posted about something else. And it especially comes into play when you are booking into groups that are all around each other. So here, Marlton, Medford, these are all towns around me. So I definitely wanted to mix up my ads a lot in those groups because, like I said, you will get notifications if you're in those groups every time someone's post. And I wanted people to see a lot of different postings rather than one posting over and over again. So this is how I use this spreadsheet to keep track of my postings into different groups on Facebook. So I'm not constantly posting into some groups and forgetting about others. The next tab is very similar. This is for posting team building ads on Facebook. These are the types of groups that you would want to post into. Same thing like the Facebook travel ads. You would make a note if there's any restrictions, the state's public or private number of members, and just do the same thing. And every week start a new column and put the date at the top. I have other things that aren't suppliers, but they're related to my business. So I have a separate spreadsheet for those things with my login and password. So here's just an example of a couple things. Akimbo card. We're all going to have an Akimbo card. So that's where my login for my Akimbo card would be. Bitly is a link shortener. I have a login for that. Calendly is for appointment scheduling. I have a login for that. And Canva, I think we all probably know by now, is great for creating ads. So I have a login for that. And any other things you can think of that don't fit in with suppliers or education or rewards, I put here on my business tab. Booked travel. Now this one is quite extensive. Like I said, I love spreadsheets, so that's why I have so much information. But you can delete columns if you feel it's repetitive or you just don't care to have this much information. But it's pretty self-explanatory if you just read through all the columns. Anything that I think may not be self-explanatory, I have a little notation up here that will explain what it is about. And let's see, do I have this open? Okay. We can take a look at mine. I highlight things in yellow after I get paid. This was someone who had a booking and then canceled, so I just moved it down. But basically, we've got a client name and departure date, where they're going, where is it located, what type of room, the supplier, the booking confirmation. I'll put the date that I send the booking confirmation to the client, credit card authorization sent to the client. I'll put a date there. I'll put a date for when I get it back. If something doesn't apply, I put in NA. And I just go through and fill out all the columns. With these cancellation dates, it's a good practice to not tell the client the real cancellation date. I have had this happen where it's 11:55, the night of the day that it is due, and I am trying to make a payment for someone at 11:55 p.m. because that is the last day that they had to pay it, and they just got around to giving me the info. So that's no fun. You don't want to do it. So just make up a date that's a few days earlier, or even I do a week earlier a lot and tell them that the cancellation date is a week earlier, or the deposit payment date is a week earlier, or the final payment date is a week earlier. And then I just don't have to worry about being up at midnight trying to make a payment for people. Supplier confirmation number, final payment amount, booking amount. I will write down the full commission that I'm supposed to get. And then I have it set up to calculate the commission rate, 8%, I'm sorry, 80%. This one is 17% because it was tin leg, it was insurance. So then it calculates it for me. I put the return date, and then 3 months later, the date I should get paid by. And that's the very latest. 3 months later is when you should get paid by. Put in when I get paid, how much I got paid, and the account number it's under. Again, I have 4 different accounts, so sometimes I book things under different accounts. I send out a survey to people. I make note if I get a response back, and I will also schedule a review text 2 days after survey. I don't even know what that means, to be honest with you. Oh, I know, review. I will ask them to leave me a review, and then here's a column if I received the review or not. So that is all that info. And then the last thing is expenses. I am not an accountant. Don't take accounting advice from me, but this is my simple little spreadsheet that I use to keep track of my expenses. I have an accountant that does the work for me. I'll put the date, how much something costs, the name of the company that I bought it from, and then I will fill it into one of these columns. So if, let's see, it was $229 and I spent $20 on something, and let's say it was Canva, I would consider Canva to be an office expense. So then I would put the $20 over here also. And then at the end of the year, you can have formulas down here. So each of these columns will total, and you'll see how much money you spent in each category. And that is about it. Those are my main spreadsheets that I use every day to keep track of things and stay organized. Like I said, I will give you guys the link to this, and all you have to do is come over here, File, make a copy, and make a copy. And then it's yours to alter as you would like and make use of it for your travel business needs. All right, have a great day, everybody.